is here.
Hello, Ziggy.
Hey, Ziggy. Hi.
Good
Greetings
to see
again
you.
from Germany. And Hillary is here.
Hello, Hillary.
Hearing you loud and clear in Northern Ireland. Well, that is wonderful
That is
news.
real good news, 'cause,
we have had a time.
We're using second string gear. We've blown through 2 routers
Oh, yes.
this week.
It's been
And,
something. We didn't know if we were going to have a show.
We weren't even sure we were going to be able to do this. So if there's any dropouts or anything, it's because we're using antiquated equipment to get on the internet.
Goodness.
But we're here, by
Flip
golly.
is here. Hi,
Hey,
guys.
Philippa.
Hi, Flip. Hi. Yeah, it's been...
Who-
Well, but we got there, you know?
Yeah, we did. Hope everybody's getting ready for the holiday. And all.
Oh, yes. Because it is not far... Wait, let me need to get my mic closer. Not too far away.
Truly. Looks like we're all set.
I believe so. Ready to go.
All right. Well,
Oh, wait, Ziggy says, and congratulations to your wonderful color... very
thank you.
holiday hats. Thank you.
yeah, a little something different.
Little fun there.
I got to get me a leprechaun hat for St. Patrick's Day, too, this year somewhere.
Oh, we shall find a good one.
Thought I had it fixed. This is a different Autoharp than
Yes.
I usually play.
Another thing we did this week.
Yeah, we completely refurbished this. It's got new Schreiber strings. It's got completely new chord bars. We refelted all the chord bars. We lowered the action, so it's a lot easier to play. And I thought we had the buttons quiet, but they're not as quiet as they could be. But anyway, and we changed the chord bar layout to be exactly like the Tahoma that I've ordered.
Yes.
So I can be ready to go when it arrives. Okay, this is our 3rd annual Christmas show, and it's called Yet Another Twisted Christmas. We're going to take a lighthearted look at the holiday that everybody takes way too serious.
Yes.
Too much running around at the last minute and everything else. So we're going to try to cheer you up a little bit
Ziggy
here.
says your refurbished Autoharp sounds great.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have been enjoying that.
It was a lot of fun. Lin marked the felts because she has musical knowledge.
Right.
And then my son Greg, who is
He's
a
very
repairman, cut all the notches, cut all the felt,
Yes.
stripped all the chord bars and all that. So we've done 2 of these now, and we're getting pretty good at it.
Yes.
We've got one more Autoharp body that we're going to redo and do a prism, so I can
Yes, we're
play
gonna do a
blues and
prism.
jazz and stuff
That's
kinda
exciting
out of
to
my
me to come
wheelhouse.
up with something new. I got to move that a little bit. I bumped my microphone when I turn my head.
Oh,
I don't know whether that will sound or not. It's-
probably, but don't worry about
I
it. Just try not. Don't do it again. Anyway, well, let's get underway here.
yes.
Here's a song that was written and recorded by Bill Engvall on his album in 2005 called Here's Your Christmas Album. Christmas Day will not be very merry. Explaining to the children will be hard. It's Christmas Eve tonight, and our beagle picked a fight with some reindeer that were grazing in our yard. Now I'm getting sued by Santa Claus. He's claiming mental anguish in his case. Now I'm getting sued by Santa Claus, and my kids won't even look me in the face. I let the dog outside to do his business. I forgot to hook his leash up to the peg. First him and Cupid came to blows, then he bit Rudolph on the nose, and when I got there he was eyeing Prancer's leg. Now I'm getting sued by Santa Claus. He's claiming mental anguish in his case. Now I'm getting sued by Santa Claus, and my kids won't even look me in the face. I tried to throw myself on Santa's mercy. I begged him, but I wasn't getting through. I said, it's all your fault, you know. He said, now how can that be so? I said, because we got the stupid dog from you. Now I'm getting sued by Santa Claus. He's claiming mental anguish in his case. Now I'm getting sued by Santa Claus, and my kids won't even look me in the face. Oh, I'm getting sued by Santa Claus, and my kids won't even look me in the face.
Oh.
Now I'm getting sued by Santa Claus, and I'm bunking with a beagle in his place. Couldn't we just settle out of court? Please.
Oh. Lois Conklin is here. I
Hello,
am
Lois.
here listening today. Fun time. And Robert C. Richmond. And may a blessed Christmas for all be enhanced by your music offering tonight.
Well, thank you, Robert.
Tonight here in Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh, my.
And wow. And then Ziggy says to Robert, I'm not sure, because it's in German. So that's between you guys.
All right.
I was...
Very good. Well, welcome to everybody. I'm glad you all could come, Lois,
Yes.
Robert, and happy holidays to all.
And Brenda Hale. Bob and Brenda are here. Welcome, welcome.
Indeed.
So good to see you guys.
Here is a song that was written by Charles Ives and recorded by the redoubtable Tom Lehrer. And it's called Christmas Time is Here Again. Christmas time is here, by golly, disapproval would be folly. Deck the halls with hunks of holly, fill the cup and don't say when. Kill the turkeys, ducks, and chickens, mix the punch, drag out the dickens. Even though the prospect sickens, brother, here we go again. On Christmas Day you can't get sore, your fellow man you must adore. There's time to rob him all the more, the other 364. Relations sparing no expense will send some useless old utensil, or a matching pen and pencil, just the thing I need. How nice. It doesn't matter how sincere it is, or how heartfelt the spirit. Sentiment will not endear it. What's important is the price. Hark the Herald Tribune sings, advertising wondrous things. God rest ye merry merchants, may ye make the Yuletide pay. Angels we have heard on high tell us to go out and buy. So let the raucous sleigh bells jingle, hail our dear old friend Kris Kringle, driving his reindeer across the sky. Don't stand underneath when they fly by.
Rick Candy.
Hey, Rick, long time no
Greetings
see.
from Rick up in Massachusetts. Merry Christmas to you both and to you too.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. Yeah, got a lot of old friends here tonight. That's good.
Yes.
That's really good. I really appreciate y'all taking a little bit of your day to celebrate the holidays with us. Here is a song that was written and recorded by Eileen McGann. I remember days like this when I lived up north.
Oh, yeah. I know.
This is a parody of a sea shanty called Bound for South Australia. And it's called Snow Shanty. So winter is just around the corner. About 4 days, 3 or 4 days till winter officially begins.
Is it? Oh, my.
And here's what some of you at least can look forward to. Woke up on a frozen morn, heave away, haul away. Radio said there's been a storm, I'm bound for work this morning. Heave away, you frozen thing, heave away, haul away, all away, you'll hear me sing, I'm bound for work this morning. Tried to open up the door, heave away, haul away, snow's piled up 5 feet or more, I'm bound for work this morning. Got a shoveling job ahead, heave away, haul away, except the shovels in the shed, I'm bound for work this morning. Heave away, you frozen thing, heave away, haul away, all away, you'll hear me sing, I'm bound for work this morning. Shut the door and make a gap, heave away, haul away, 1 step out, I'm on my back, I'm bound for work this morning. It's down my collar, up my nose, heave away, haul away, down my boots between my toes, I'm bound for work this morning. Heave away, you frozen thing, heave away, haul away, all away, you'll hear me sing, I'm bound for work this morning. Struggle through the drifts and piles, heave away, haul away, shed seems like it's 20 miles, I'm bound for work this morning. Reach the shed and realize, heave away, haul away, I've left the bloody keys inside, I'm bound for work this morning. Heave away, you frozen thing, heave away, haul away, all away, you'll hear me sing, I'm bound for work this morning. It's to the house, back to the shed, heave away, haul away, I think this snow is made of lead, I'm bound for work this morning. It's time to shovel out the cars, heave away, haul away, if we can find out where they are, I'm bound for work this morning. Heave away the ice and snow, heave away, haul away, curse and swearing as you go, I'm bound for work this morning. The drive is done, the car is clear, heave away, haul away, what's that rumbling noise I hear, I'm bound for work this morning. I look up at the dreadful sound, heave away, haul away, the city plow is bearing down. I'm bound for work this morning. Heave away the ice and snow, heave away, haul away, curse and swearing as you go. I'm bound for work this morning. The city plow goes thundering by, heave away, haul away, leaving snowbanks 10 feet high. I'm bound for work this morning. The car is buried, there's no way, heave away, haul away, I'll make it into work today. I'm bound for work this morning. Heave away the ice and snow, heave away, haul away, curse and swearing as you go. I'm bound for work this morning. I'll hitch the dog up to the sled, heave away, haul away, it's time this dachshund earned his bread. I'm bound for work this morning. The car is lost, the dog is fled, heave away, haul away, it's time I headed back to bed. Heave away the ice and snow, heave away, haul away, curse and swearing as you go. I'm bound for work this morning. Heave away, you frozen thing, heave away, haul away, you hear me sing. I'm bound for work this morning.
Oh my. Kathy Bertel just ran into your show, great as usual. And
Thanks,
Joan,
Kathy.
With Char, I'm watching and listening.
Thank you, Joan.
And Amber says, sharing failed on my part, sad face. And
Okay, well,
we'll talk.
nice try. We'll
thank
worry
you,
about
thank
it later.
you, dear. And Robert C. Richmond, danke, Ziggy. And then maybe we will need to drive down and see you for a private concert in this Christmas holiday.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Boy. Yeah.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Well, it's great to have you all.
Yes.
Here's a song that was written and recorded by a guy who calls himself Dudley Moron.
Oh, no.
Okay. And it's called It's Christmas and I Wonder Where I Am. At the office Christmas party, I started off with a Bacardi. I never get sauced, but right now I'm lost. It's Christmas and I wonder where I am. Had a beer at my brother's, had eggnog at my mother's, then 2 bottles of wine. Which automobile is mine? It's Christmas and I wonder where I am. Someone caught me dancing with a snowman. Policeman came and put me in his car. He said, "Are you drunk?" And I said, "No, man. But could you drop me off at the next bar?" I guess my wife must be missing. Who's this dog that I'm kissing? They say his name's Spot, and he likes me a lot. It's Christmas and I wonder where I am. I was looking for a lady I could dance with, so I stood beneath the mistletoes. Someone said you'd have a better chance if you take the lampshade off and put back on your clothes. A lampshade. Isn't that the best? It's time to be going. I'm naked. Is this still snowing? It's time I should leave. I'll be back New Year's Eve. It's Christmas and I wonder where I am. It's Christmas and I wonder where I am. Have you seen my hat? I wouldn't want to freeze. What a party! Don't you wish you were me? Not tomorrow, I won't.
No. Brenda says, well done, George. How do you remember all those verses? And she was talking about the snow shanty.
Oh, well,
I think.
thank you. I just listen to the songs over and over and over until
And that one's a favorite.
and that's and if better I like them, the easier it is to learn them, honestly. And then I do have a system for songs that I haven't got memorized where I have the lyrics in a file on a laptop computer, and I've got a foot pedal hooked up to it, and every time I push the foot pedal, it sends a down arrow to get me to the next line of the song. So one way or another, it's covered.
Hillary said the snow song was amusing until you mentioned the dachshund, and then laughing, crying faces, hilarious. And John Wendling,
Hello, John.
Happy holidays to you and yours.
Thank you, and same to you.
He says, have you heard a song by the Navigators called Days Gone By? And nice song for the holidays, he said.
I haven't, but we will write it down, and I will learn it and present it at the next show.
And
Days Gone By the
Navigators. Yes, I'll write that down. And Philippa said, missed the last song, but my new birds are now safely caged.
Oh, good.
It makes me wonder maybe you just brought them home. I had birds, and
the nicest parakeets in town. Speaking of double entendre.
I had mine get loose once or twice when I had birds. They're fun to, yes.
No, they're not. My grandfather would let his just fly around. He'd let them out of their cage for a while, and they'd fly around. They'd land on his head. And he'd walk around with them on his head, and then after a while, they'd fly back into their cage, and he'd close them back up again. He was an old farm boy. He liked to have animals around him and all. He was living in the middle of the city. Here's a song by Homer. Here's a song by Homer and Jethro called Ornaments. Well, I've got a gal. She's 6'3". She's built like a Christmas tree. She's got ornaments. Ornaments. Yes, you ought to see what she's got for ornaments. Well, she sent me to the store to get a loaf of bread. I come home with butter and she hit me in the head with those ornaments. Ornaments. Yes, you ought to see what she's got for ornaments. She said some doc had used lots of tape on her ornaments. Ornaments. Yes, you ought to see what she's got for ornaments. Now Jethro really is so meek. She slapped him when he tried to peek at those ornaments. Ornaments. Guess you ought to see what she's got for ornaments. Well, when she walks, it's plain to see. It rattles my tree with those ornaments. Ornaments. Yes, you ought to see what she's got for ornaments. Well, before you them nasty things. Her ornaments are those swinging earrings. That's her ornaments. Ornaments. Guess you ought to see what she's got for ornaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those comedy by misdirection songs. You're sure it's about one thing and then it's something else again.
Yes.
Okay. Don't know who wrote this song. A country singer named Glenn Warren recorded it. And it's called Santa Claus, There Is a Virginia. Hey, Santa Claus, I was going to write you a letter, but I decided to sing you this song instead. Yes, Santa Claus, there is a Virginia, and a Bill and Bob and Gail and Tommy too. Born a year apart on September 24th. Now don't that seem a little strange to you? My wife said that it's all coincidental, but I don't buy it. I'm not that naive. Yes, Santa Claus, there is a Virginia, and I'll be home for sure this Christmas Eve. I drove a truck, and every year I'd be out on the road. And it was Christmas Day before I finally made it home. Well, I quit that trucking job, and next September I guarantee, if we have another kid, it's gonna look like me. Yes, Santa Claus, there is a Virginia, and a Bill and Bob and Gail and Tommy too. Born a year apart on September 24th. Now don't that seem a little strange to you? My wife said it's just all coincidental, but I don't buy it. I'm not that naive. Yes, Santa Claus, there is a Virginia, and I'll be home for sure this Christmas Eve. Now I know where you get that twinkle in your eye. Yeah, you might think it's funny. My kids all look like you, and they love to pet and feed the reindeer at the local zoo. Yeah, they all play around the chimney, laughing ho, ho, ho. Well, this joke has gone about as far as I'm gonna let it go. Yes, Santa Claus, there is a Virginia, and a Bill and Bob and Gail and Tommy too. Born a year apart on September the 24th. Now don't that seem a little strange to you? It does to me. Well, my wife says it's just all coincidental, but I don't buy it. I'm not that naive. Yes, Santa Claus, there is a Virginia, so I'll be home for sure this Christmas Eve. Yes, Santa Claus, there is a Virginia, and a Bill and Bob and Gail and Tommy too, and I don't know how many more. Born a year apart on September the 24th. Now don't that seem a little strange to you? My wife said that it's all coincidental, but I don't buy it. I'm not that naive. Yes, Santa Claus, there is a Virginia, and I'll be home for sure this Christmas Eve. Yes, Santa Claus, there is a Virginia, and I'll be home for sure this Christmas Eve. I'll be waiting for you, you little pot-bellied elf-looking son of a gun. I'll fix your ho-ho-ho.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Dave Kilby.
Hey,
is here.
Dave.
And from Peach Bottom, Pennsylvania. George, you are sounding great as always. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
That's good to know. We
Yeah.
are lucky.
That song, the moral of that song is anger not the redneck ex-truck driver. Yeah, we're lucky to be here
We're
today.
lucky to be, not any other reason than,
We lost a router,
yeah.
and
meaning
I went and got one this morning, and it didn't work
it didn't
either.
work either, so we got to trace.
So I had to drag an old one out of the closet. I've got Wi-Fi working, but not Ethernet. So if there are any dropouts, we apologize in advance.
In advance, yes.
But there's another. We're
really glad.
really happy to be here at all. To be honest with you. Okay, let's see here. Where are we? Here's a song written and recorded by Bob Rivers. And it's a parody of I'll Be Home for Christmas. I'll be stoned for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. I blew the song. No, I went to the real words. I was concentrating so much on playing the song right.
Uh-oh.
Let me do this again. Sorry, folks.
I was liking it. Yeah.
I'm not stoned, I promise.
Yeah.
I'll be stoned for Christmas. You can plan on me. I must insist on lemon twist martinis by the tree. Christmas Eve you'll find me sparking up some gravy. I'll be stoned for Christmas and sipping Irish cream. Oh yeah, feels good now. Santa Claus will be flying. Oh, steady now. With his reindeer team. I'll be crawling around the floor this Christmas, 'cause someone hid my keys. Oh my. I think the keys are over here by the couch. What a lovely couch this is, too. What is that? Malgahide? Doesn't matter.
Pat Byrne is with us.
Hey, Pat.
Happy
Good
Christmas,
evening.
George and your wife.
Thank you. Same to you.
And he said, lovely to see yous again. Same to you.
Same to you indeed. Yeah, I kind of staggered through that last song myself.
Well,
Just a quick reminder, the early bird prices for MLAG are ending soon. So if you haven't registered and you're going to go, now's the time to go to mlag.org and get the early bird rates. Here's a song by Ray Stevens called Nightmare Before Christmas.
okay.
About overzealous prosecutors and other evildoers.
Uh-huh.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and I went to bed late. Lord only knows how much pizza I ate. Christmas Eve, I dreamed that Santa was arrested. Yeah, they handcuffed him and they hauled him off to jail. Christmas Eve, I dreamed that Santa was arrested for crimes so bad they held him without bail. Cruelty to reindeer was the first charge that they read. We got there just in time, Your Honor. He had 9 of them hitched to a heavy sled, and abuse is indicated. One's got a nose that's awfully red, and the prosecution had only just begun. OSHA closed his workshop down for safety violations, and there were product liability claims for every toy built since creation. We found out he only hires elves, and of course, that's discrimination. He'll be put away for life before we're done. That sled is not airworthy. The FAA won't certify. He's over 60 with corrected vision, therefore he should not fly. Why, this could be the trial of the century. There's over 10 billion instances of illegal entry. Christmas Eve, I dreamed that Santa was arrested, and not only for the things they claimed he did. Christmas Eve, I dreamed that Santa was arrested for being a poor role model for kids. Why, just look at him there, Your Honor. He doesn't shave or cut his hair, and he's grossly overweight, and he only works 1 day a year. Now, we all know he smokes tobacco, and there's fur on that suit he wears. We must protect our kids from men like this. Order in the court, said the judge. I've heard enough about his crimes, and clearly this is a man who's out of step with modern times. But one of those houses he so often entered unlawfully was mine, and therefore all charges are dismissed. Oh, I woke up to the sound of ho-ho-hoing, reindeer hooves upon the roof, and it was snowing. And as I watched him fly away, it was good knowing that some things that are politically correct are still right. So Merry Christmas to all, and to all a Merry Christmas Eve, good night. Must have been the pepperoni.
Yeah. Pat said, George heading to the pub soon. They are closing earlier next week, and then said because of virus, and then said lads.
Well, enjoy yourself,
yes,
Pat. I'm
do.
glad you dropped in, and happy holidays to you and all, and the best to your mom as well.
Yes, we'll look for you next time.
Yes, indeed. Here's a song that was done by a group called the Youpers. Now, I have to explain this a little bit. Youpers are people who live in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and they're Michigan's brand of rednecks. They've got kind of a Scandinavian accent, and they just, they're different. They're just different. I heard a story about a Youper once. He came down out of the Upper Peninsula, and he decided he'd go out west. And he met up with these boys out there, and they said, well, we're going bear hunting tomorrow. You want to come along with us? He said, well, sure, I'll come along. And so they all head out to this hunting lodge that they've got. And the guy says, well, I guess I'll go hunting bear. And he walks outside, he picks up a rock, and he walks out into the woods whistling. And he's gone for an hour and a half. These guys say, we probably got to go look for him before he gets himself killed out there. So they're getting their clothes on and bundled up and their weapons ready and everything else. And all of a sudden, here comes this Youper running for all he's got. And a grizzly bear is right beside him with a big lump on his head.
Oh, no.
So obviously, we know what happened. And he goes, "Open the door! Open the door!
Oh, no.
Open the door!" And I said, "Oh, my God." You know. So they open the door, and the Youper jumps to the right over by the open window. The bear walks inside. The Youper closes the door and says, "You boys skin that, and I'll go get us another one."
Oh, no. Yeah. That'll work.
Anyway, here is
my.
Rusty Chevrolet by the Youpers. I can't do the accent very well, so I'm not even going to try. Dashing through the snow in my rusty Chevrolet. Down the road I go, sliding all the way. I need new piston rings, I need some new snow tires. My car is held together by a piece of chicken wire. Oh, rust and smoke, the heaters broke, the door just blew away. I light a match to see the dash and then I start to pray. The frame is bent, the muffler went, the radio, it's okay. Oh, what fun it is to drive this rusty Chevrolet. I went to the IGA to get some Christmas cheer. I just packed up my left front tire and it's getting hard to steer. Skidding down the highway, right past an Agani cop. I had to drag my swampers just to get that car to stop. Oh, rust and smoke, the heaters broke, the door just blew away. I light a match to see the dash and then I start to pray. The frame is bent, the muffler went, the radio, it's okay. Oh, what fun it is to drive this rusty Chevrolet. Bouncing through the snow drifts in a big blue cloud of smoke. People laugh as I drive by. I wonder what's the joke. I got to get to Shopko to pick up the layaway. 'Cause Santa Claus is coming soon in his big old rusty sleigh. Oh, rust and smoke, the heaters broke, the door just blew away. I light a match to see the dash and then I start to pray. The frame is bent, the muffler went, the radio, it's okay. Oh, what fun it is to drive this rusty Chevrolet.
Yes. Pat's still here. He said, "Good one, George."
Thank you, Pat. Really nice crowd we have today from
Yes.
all over the place. We have an international audience here.
Yes.
I'm really glad you all can
Pat says, "Very
spend
well
some
sung."
time with us. Thank you, Pat. Thank you very much.
I like that one too.
Yeah, that's funny. There's a whole lot of parodies of.
Oh, Pinkie Pie. Hi, George and
Hello,
Lynn.
Pinkie.
And Phyllis Gula. Fun.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Good to see you
Good to
guys.
see you.
Welcome. I put them out of
Again.
order, but
Well, that's okay.
they're here.
They're here.
They are
That's
here.
the main thing.
Yes.
That is indeed the main thing, and we're glad everyone could
Oh, Pat
come.
says, "Not gone yet." Good. That's good. We will have you a little while longer then.
Well, have a holiday jar for us when
Yes,
you get there, Pat.
yes. Is a jar a pint?
A jar is a glass of
I just wondered
alcoholic
if
beverage.
it was that.
It's like you have a
Yes,
glass.
a jar, you have a glass.
Yeah,
A jar.
so it's that kind of
Yes, a jar.
Here's a song that was written and recorded by Bob Rivers, who is a parody person extraordinaire. It's called Going Up to Bethlehem. There's a star to the north and I'm going just as fast as the angels fly. There's a manger ahead and it's glowing. Gonna find that Jesus guy. Come on and worship him. We're going up to Bethlehem. Oh, bring a sack of gold for the baby. Get some grace while the getting's good. Grab a camel and ride past the shepherds to that manger made of wood. Glad tidings and 3 wise men. We're going up to Bethlehem. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Catch a ride to the end of the desert, and we'll meet by the Christmas tree. Full of grace up ahead and it's glowing. Come and see that nativity scene. Someday he'll rise again. We're showing up with 3 wise men. Yeah. Rock, rock, bada. Rock, rock, bada. Yeah, rock, rock, bada. Rock, rock, bada. Yeah, rock, rock, bada. Rock, rock, bada.
Oh, nice. Pat said, no problem, I will do. I will have one on uses. A pint of Guinness.
There you go.
Love the Guinness. Very popular in Ireland here. We agree. Guinness.
Yeah, if we can find it where the Americans
Just
haven't
don't-
wrecked it. Because they
you know,
think that all beer should be
should
cold.
be cold.
There's nothing worse than a
no.
cold Guinness. And if you chill it and then warm it back up, it does something to it. It's still better than the American beers I you know drink on occasion. But man, I wish these people down here wouldn't chill it.
Right.
And then there's not a bartender in the world in the area down here that has any idea how to pour it properly. So
Well,
I just on the rare occasions when I drink, I bring it home and do my best.
yes.
Okay. Where are we here? Oh. Here's a song that was written and recorded by Ken Carlisle. And it's called I Saw Mama Kissing Santa Claus and So Did Dad. Not the best idea. Let me tell you about the time Mama cooked her own Christmas goose. I guess the holiday spirits had gotten Mama just a little loose. That year, the office party, Mama held it at our house. She said, "Go on up to bed, son, be quiet as a mouse." I peeked around the corner and I saw old Santa Claus. And I found out much later, oh, he was my mama's boss. Mama had hidden mistletoe in several secret spots, and I knew she never dreamed she might get caught. Well, the party rolled on and Mama snuck into the living room, followed closely by Santa, and later on by Daddy, too. I saw Mama kissing Santa Claus, and so did Dad. Daddy's nose glowed red as Rudolph saw. I knew that he was mad. It was the most exciting Christmas that our family ever had, when I saw Mama kissing Santa Claus, and so did Dad. Well, my daddy grabbed old St. Nick and he threw him on the ground. Electric lights commenced to sparking as the Christmas tree came crashing down. Them sparks, they set the couch on fire and set off the smoke alarm. Santa's screaming fire and Daddy's gnawing on his arm. Pretty soon the fire trucks come roaring down the street. Mama, she's plumb scared to death and hiding beneath the tree. Santa, he broke loose and headed toward the fireplace. Daddy grabbed his shotgun, a crazed look upon his face. Santa started crawling up the chimney yelling, no, no, no. And I can't tell you where Daddy finally hung that mistletoe. Santa flew like a reindeer after the shotgun blast. And where it nicked St. Nick, whoa, you don't have to ask. Just like a bottle rocket, Santa blew out over the roof, slipping and sliding in them big old Santa boots. That mistletoe went flying all around the neighborhood, and the last time I saw Santa, he was limping through the woods. They say every year at Christmas he comes down the chimney. Well, I may not have seen him coming, but I sure got to see him leave. It was the most exciting Christmas that our family ever had, when I saw Mama kissing Santa Claus, and so did Dad.
Hearts and likes on that one. And Brenda Hale's post is from, or comment is from Bob. Hello, George, Bob here. You should listen to Patty Roberts, Merry Christmas, You Suckers. I wrote that down. So.
I've got that song, and I just thought it might be a little raw for this audience, but I'll certainly consider it next year. I do have it. I have a lot of unusual Christmas songs. Let's put it that way.
Drop my pencil. Hang on. I mean, you can keep going.
Great hits that everybody remembers, like Christmas in Jail and stuff like that. Here is one that was written by Elmo Shropshire and recorded by his alter ego, Dr. Elmo, of Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer fame. But I think that one's pretty much beat to death, so unless somebody's just dying to hear it, I'm not going to play that one this year. This one's called Grandma's Killer Fruitcake. The holidays were upon us and things were going fine, till the day I heard the doorbell and a chill ran up my spine. I grabbed the wife and children as the postman wheeled it in. The yearly Christmas nightmare had just come back again. It was harder than the head of Uncle Bucky, heavy as a sermon, a preacher lucky. One's enough to give the whole state of Kentucky a great big belly ache. It was denser than a trove of barnyard turkeys, tougher than a truckload of all beef jerky, drier than a drought in Albuquerque, Grandma's killer fruit cake. Now I've had to swallow some marginal fare at our family feast. I even downed Aunt Polly's possum pie just to keep the family peace. I winced at Wilma's gizzard moose, but said it tasted fine. But that lethal weapon that Grandma bakes is where I draw the line. It was harder than the head of Uncle Bucky, heavy as a sermon, a preacher lucky. One's enough to give a whole state of Kentucky a great big belly ache. It was denser than a trove of barnyard turkeys, tougher than a truckload of all beef jerky, drier than a drought in Albuquerque, Grandma's killer fruit cake. Early Christmas morning, the phone rings us awake. It's Grandma, Pa, she wants to know how we like the cake. Well, Grandma, we couldn't. It was unbelievable, that's for sure. What's that you say? Oh no, Grandma, please don't send us more. It was harder than the head of Uncle Bucky, heavy as the sermon of Preacher Lucky. One's enough to give the whole state of Kentucky a great big belly ache. It was denser than a trove of barnyard turkeys, tougher than a truckload of all beef jerky, drier than a drought in Albuquerque, Grandma's killer fruit cake. Grandma's killer fruit cake.
I actually like fruitcake.
I do too.
It's Canadian roots a little bit on my mom's side.
Yeah.
Flip said, rumor has it that the original anchors for sailing ships were fruitcakes. Now that's just about believable too, you know?
Well,
I don't know.
it's an interesting.
It's an interesting thought. You know, if you fill them up with water and get them all waterlogged, they probably are even heavier, and so maybe.
No, what? They were a fruitcake was a holiday version of something that Philip may know more about than I do, called iron rations.
Oh.
And it was made to preserve food for armies going into battle.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
That's
and
right.
what you did is you sliced a piece off and you put it in boiling water, and everything would rehydrate. And you know, you could, and if you do that with modern fruitcake, you'll see what I mean. And the harder and heavier and more unappetizing it is, the better it reacts to that.
Wow.
I had an aunt, Clarice, who made fruitcake, and nobody liked it until my grandma, Rush, my mother's father, said, "Ah, you city boy, you don't know how to eat it. Watch this." You know, he poured boiling water on it, and it crackles and swells and comes alive, you know, and everything. Oh my God! But it was good. You know, all the fruits were juicy again, and all the nuts were tender, and that stuff that, you know, goes to like glue in your mouth became a really nice sauce. It was very interesting.
Pinkie Pie said, now I understand why they like it soaked in brandy and rum.
Right.
There you go.
Well, that also helps preserve it, you see. But that way,
it's a wonderful
it's easier
food.
to get down.
It's a good food.
Yeah. Now, this song is written and recorded by Chief Greenbud, and he probably would have liked fruitcake, I think. Let's see, where am I here? This is called A Christmas Without Weed.
Oh.
Well, it's Christmas time again. I've been calling all my friends. Well, there ain't no weed to buy, so I won't be getting high unless I smoke these seeds and stems. Well, I called my old friend Mike, and he asked me what I'd like. I'd like to find some Christmas pot. I enjoy smoking a lot, and this town's so goddamn dry. A Christmas without weed is like a forest without trees, like a song without an end, a writer with no pen. Won't someone help me, please? now snowflakes start to fall. I still can't find no weed at all. Not a nickel or a dime, running low on time, and I'm starting to withdraw. Santa, won't you bring me a big old sack of weed? I'll be good next year, I swear. I'm pulling out my hair, I'm kneeling on my knees. Christmas without weed doesn't sound much fun to me. Like a bull without a bud, like a truck stuck in the mud. Won't someone help me, please? Santa, don't you care? I'm pulling out my hair. Please bring some pot to me.
Lots of hearts go up on that one. And Pinky said, where do you find the lyrics and chords to this song? LOL, haha. And also, George, you are the best clown around ever.
Well, thank you.
Yes, you're
Thank you,
right.
Pinky. There's
He
so
is.
much anxiety and
Oh, I know.
hate
Without
and
ever trying
fear
to run into
and,
it.
and just meanness out there that I just want to do my little bit to maybe bring a smile to people's face and make them see that everybody in the end basically wants the same things.
Yes.
So, you know, we've got a lot more in common than we have differences, and there's just way too much emphasis on our differences these days. So I figure everybody can laugh.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if they're laughing at me, they're not being mad at somebody
That's
else.
right.
So that's
We have
that's
hearts.
good.
Hearts.
Thank you
Folks
all.
in agreement. Yes.
Here's a song written by Paul Rogers and recorded by the Christmas Jug Band. And it's called Santa Lost a Hoe. Santa used to like to chuckle. He's always been a belly full of laughs, sitting in his Santa Claus chair, pausing for the photographs. But now he don't laugh so much. In fact, about 1/3 less. Old St. Nick got a problem. He's really in an awful mess. 'Cause he used to go ho, ho, ho. Now he's only going ho, ho. Uh-oh. Where'd the other hoe go? I don't know. But Santa's feeling mighty low. He used to do hidey-ho. Now he's only doing hidey. Uh-oh. Where'd the other hoe go? I don't know. Santa lost a hoe. Now Santa's been doing his best to get into the Christmas mood, keeping his little elves happy. He's the #1 Christmas dude. But there ain't no joy, 'cause just one toy is missing from Santa's shack. He ain't never had a doll go AWOL. Once he got her in the sack. He used to go ho, ho, ho. Now he's only going ho, ho. Uh-oh. Where'd the other hoe go? I don't know. But Santa's feeling mighty low. He used to do hidey-ho. Now he's only doing hidey. Uh-oh. Where'd the other hoe go? I don't know. Santa lost a hoe. You better find that hoe before it takes off Christmas Eve. 'Cause a Santa that's only got 2 hoes, no one would believe. Oh, Santa, if you need some cheering, stop by on your way. 'Cause we are going to party all the way to Christmas Day. Just open up your bag of joy, and soon you'll feel all right. You're gonna leave here laughing, even if you're one whole light. 'Cause he used to go ho, ho, ho. Now he's only going ho, ho. Uh-oh. Where'd the other ho go? I don't know. But Santa's feeling mighty low. He used to do hidey-ho. Now he's only doing hidey. Uh-oh. Where'd the other ho go? I don't know. Santa lost a hoe. But I do know good things in life, they come and go. Poor old Santa lost a hoe.
Oh my.
You can still get in on the introductory price for a Tahoma Autoharp from Pete Daigle. It's a revolutionary designed Autoharp, and you can get one for $1,395 still. So
Ziggy said it's amazing how many Christmas parodies exist, and even more amazing that you know them all.
Well, thank you, Ziggy.
Sorry to interrupt you on that there. The Tahoma.
Yeah, well, it's just, you know, I am eagerly awaiting mine.
Yes.
And if you want to take a look at it, go over to daigelharp.com and check it out, because it's amazing. The top and frame is all one piece of piano pin block, and it has channels cut through it that amplify the sound. And well, I hadn't really been up close and personal, as it were, with any luthier build auto harps. All of mine are Oscar Schmidts. They're older ones, but they're all mass produced. And I was exposed to a lot of them at CAG, and Pete showed me the prototype when I went in to meet him and to talk to him about refurbishing one of my OS harps that I had with me. And every time I came back to see him and his lovely wife Polly and their dog Harpo, he'd put that in my hands.
Yes.
And I'd sit there and I'd just lose whole blocks of time. It's a great harp. It's got robust bass and really mellow mid-range and nice highs without being brassy. And you don't have to dig to get any of them. There aren't any dead spots in it. And it's got lungs. A guitar player came in and sat down and played some with me, jammed a little bit, and it definitely held its own. You get fine tuners. You get the Brian Bowers 21 chord chromatic setup. You get your choice of cases. $1,395 while the introductory offer lasts, and I hope Pete tells me when it's over, because I don't want to keep telling you all about it when it's not happening. But as far as I know, it's still that price. So, and you can he's got an interest-free layaway plan too. So if you don't have all the money right now, you know, you can put a deposit down and pay it off, and then have a little Christmas of your own just a little bit later in the year. Really nice harp. I can't wait to get mine. I got a bunch of customizations. I got a built-in pickup. Pete is going to make me a left-handed one, so this all flips around and I won't have to cross my hands anymore. Can't wait. Anyway, check it out. It's good. It's a good deal. Where am we?
Well, Brenda says lots of jolly good songs tonight to make us laugh. Thank you for the festive show.
Oh, you're welcome. We're not done yet.
We're not.
We aren't done yet. That's right. For sure. Here's another Ray Stevens tune. Let me get a little drink here. This is another Ray Stevens tune called Redneck Christmas. having a redneck Christmas with traditional possum stew. Yee-haw! We're having a redneck Christmas, poke salad and rabbit too. Yum, yum. Got paw new chaw red man, ma brand new spittoon. And I got my wife a new set of retreads for my pickup truck. Hey, the sweetest thing. Now we ain't never seen no reindeer, but we painted the bull's nose red. Put runners under the outhouse and used it for a sled. Sorry, didn't know you was in there, Grandpa. Merry Christmas, you hear? We're having a redneck Christmas, TP'd the whole front yard. Put big red bows on the hound dogs, turn the lights on all the cars. Oh, I love a redneck Christmas, it's a simple kind of life. You buy one gift and that takes care of your cousin and your wife. Well, I went downtown to see Santa Claus, gave $1 to one of them elves. Here you go, shorty. So Santa bring a man for daughter, after all she's nigh about 12. Poor thing, she'll be a spinster soon. We're having a redneck Christmas, hung up stockings on the stove. Hope Santa brings us big stuff, cause the little stuff falls to the toes. We're having a redneck Christmas, homemade moonshine eggnog. Took a little swig, thought it needed more kick, throwed in a little toady frog. Yellow, ribbit, yellow, ribbit, yellow, ribbit, yellow, ribbit.
Oh. Hillary said, unfortunately, postage and customs duty to the UK would add another 300 to 400 pounds to the cost of the Tahoma.
Oh, that's a shame.
And she said, I'll wait to hear you till I hear you play yours.
Well, I don't know because it's a special. I don't know when it's going to arrive.
Yeah.
I'll ask Pete here pretty soon. But he's just Pete Daigle is an absolutely delightful person. He brought my old Oscar Schmidt that I've had since 1982 right back to life. He refelted the core bars with a really soft felt, and I've got to learn not to press the buttons so hard
Right.
because I played all this time with really hard felt. He lowered the action so that the buttons don't have to be pressed very far down at all. And it allows you to change chords really fast to play melodies and grace notes and things. It's just absolutely a great job that he did on it. And he kept dangling that harp under my fingers. And then another guy that I met there had two of his harps down to be refelted and refurbished by Pete. And they were Pete's Autoharps. They were luthier Autoharps. And he let me borrow one of them when mine was in to be refelted. And the button layout that he had was very similar to mine. And I'm playing it along, and I'm playing it along, and I wanted to play this. Okay, and when I hit that minor, I got a minor sixth. It was weird. So when Pete let me know that mine was ready, I took Steve's Autoharp back in. I said, Pete, did he ask for an A minor sixth? And he said, no, he didn't. So you might want to take a quick look at that. And but he knows everything about Autoharps. He's a great guy. And his wife is one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. And they've got a Chinese pug dog named Harpo. And Chinese pugs are very energetic, kind of pugnacious little dogs. And he's guarding his person's room, you know, with all the stuff in it and everything. And Lulu and I walked in, and he's going, ruff, ruff, uh-oh. But he came over to see us and everything, and I got to know him, petted him up and told him he was a good dog and everything. And then every time after that we came over, he was real nice. He barked at everybody else but us. And so they were really great folks and good people to do business with. And he told me a lot of things about my Autoharps that I didn't know. He even told me something about this one, which it's an Oscar Schmidt. It's very light weight, but it doesn't have a model or a serial number or anything. And he said, yeah, they made some of those back in the 70s, and they just have a unique sound. He said, hang on to it because you'll never find another one.
Wow.
So this is the one that after I saw what Pete did to my best Autoharp, my family and I did a redneck imitation of it. We did it ourselves,
Watched the videos.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah. I have one from Flip here, and she's giving a web address for floralegium.org files. I'm not reading slashes, but you can get this later. Food, sweets, fruitcakes, MSG, HTML. I mean, there's more to it, but that's
okay.
Kind of.
Well, you all go over there and you can find out all you ever wanted to know about fruitcakes.
Yeah.
They get an honorable mention in another one of my songs here in just a minute. Where are we? Oh, okay. Here's a song that was written and recorded by Joe Diffie. It's called Rudolph the Redneck Reindeer. Red-nosed reindeer. Now this is Rudolph the Redneck Reindeer. Now you've all heard the story of Rudolph and his nose. I'll tell you a Christmas tale that never has been told. Now you may think you've heard it all, but you ain't heard nothing yet about that crazy Christmas that the North Pole can't forget. Rudolph was under the weather and he had to call in sick. So he got on the horn to his cousin Leroy, who lived out in the sticks. He said, Santa's really counting on me, and I hate to pass the buck. Leroy said, hey, I'm on my way, and he jumped in his pickup truck. Now when Leroy got to the North Pole, all the reindeer snickered and laughed. Never seen a deer in overalls and a John Deere tractor hat. Santa stepped in and said, now just calm down, 'cause we've all got a job to do. Like it or not, Leroy's in charge and he's gonna be leading you. And it was Leroy, the redneck reindeer, hooked to the front of the sleigh, delivering toys to all the good old boys and girls along the way. He's just a down-home party animal, two-stepping across the sky. He missed Jingle Bells with a rebel yell and made history that night. Now before that night was over, Leroy changed her tune. He had him scooting the hoop on every single roof by the light of the neon moon. Santa wrapped his bag in a Dixie flag. He was having the time of his life. And you could hear him call, Merry Christmas, y'all, and to all y'all, good night. And it was Leroy, the redneck reindeer, hooked to the front of the sleigh, delivering toys to all the good old boys and girls along the way. Just a down-home party animal, two-stepping across the sky. He mixed jingle bells with a rebel yell and made history that night. He mixed jingle bells with a rebel yell and made history that night.
Yay. Flip at It is a collection of messages by medieval historical cooking enthusiasts.
Ah.
Goodness.
Okay.
Wow.
That could be very interesting indeed. Celebrate Christmas like they used to.
Yes.
See, we're having a redneck Christmas. Maybe next year we could do we're having a Baroque Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we could do something like that.
Maybe.
I have to get Kathy or somebody to show me how to play Baroque music on the Autoharp. She can do it, I'll bet.
I'll bet.
You want to hear Kathy's music, go over to larkpoint.com. There's a lot of it up there. And she's a whale and good Autoharp player now. I learn something every time I listen to one of her tunes. She really is good. Okay.
Flip said Florilegium has sections on music, too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Interesting. Some of you outside of the U.S. probably, and even some of you inside the U.S. probably won't know a whole lot about this guy. This next song was written by Michael Rowe and was sung by him and John Rich. Michael Rowe had a TV show, and I can't remember where now. Was it the Science Channel? It was one of those cable things. It was called Dirty Jobs. And Mike would go out and he'd interview people who had really dirty jobs. And they'd let him do the dirty job, and everything. So he was a dirty jobs guy. And he also narrated a show called The Deadliest Catch about crab fishermen.
He narrated that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
I
that
like
was
that
a
show.
spin-off from Dirty Jobs. He did a show on them, and everybody thought it was so great that it developed into a 12-year run. But anyway, this song is by Rowan Rich, and it's called Santa's Got a Dirty Job. Santa Claus got a dirty job. Santa Claus got a dirty job. Santa Claus got a dirty job, and he does it all night long. Well, every year old Santa Claus loads up in his sleigh, and the reindeer running in front of him kick mud up in his face. And those chimneys that he must climb down ain't all that much fun. But if he don't do it, no one will. So Santa's gonna get the job done. Don't you know that Santa Claus got a dirty job? Santa Claus got a dirty job. Santa Claus got a dirty job, and he does it all night long. Through rain and wind and blinding snow, Santa Claus never slows down. He's got to keep on pushing those reindeer hard if he's gonna hit every town. Sneaking in, sneaking out for 24 hours straight. Gotta outrun them big guard dogs, gotta do whatever it takes. Don't you know that Santa Claus got a dirty job? Santa Claus got a dirty job. Santa Claus got a dirty job, and he does it all night long. You know, folks, I was just thinking, old Santa Claus, he's a big man. He visits over 300 million homes every year. Woo! And every year he goes, you know what he finds? Cookies. He eats them. He's gotta. He's Santa Claus. It'd be rude not to. I'm just saying. You wake up in the middle of the night and you see that big man in your house making a beeline for the bathroom, you better get out of the way, 'cause you know Santa Claus got a dirty job. Santa Claus got a dirty job. Santa Claus got a dirty job, and he does it all night long. Santa Claus got a dirty job. Santa Claus got a dirty job. Santa Claus got a dirty job, and he does it all night long. Yes, he does it all night long. He does it all night long. Woo! That is the #1 song on Spotify right now.
Is it?
The #1, I don't know if it's the #1 song altogether or the #1 holiday song, but yeah, it's gone viral this year. That's brand new. They just put it out this year.
Flip said, enjoy Deadliest Catch and Dirty Jobs, but neither of them hold a candle to Junkyard Wars.
That's true.
You got that? Yeah.
That is absolutely true. I really liked that show.
Yeah.
I really did. And I know it was all rigged, and they had plenty of stuff in the dump there where they were and everything, but man, I loved that show.
Oh, yeah.
I never missed an episode of Junkyard War. Oh, goodness. The Bodgers and making cannons and flying machines and boats and, oh, man, that was a good show.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it for a long time. And now they're into that thing they used to do in the 60s where they'll run 15 or 20 minutes of the show and then you get a commercial every 3 or 4 minutes. So I cut the cord. I don't even do cable TV anymore. Here is a song that was recorded. I don't know who wrote it, but it was recorded by a guy named Michael James. And it's called Bradley, the Brown-Nosed Reindeer. We've had redneck reindeer, and we've had, so now we have a brown-nosed reindeer. A tryout call was given, 100 reindeer came. We know only 9 of them would then ride on to fame. Bradley's hopes were high, he knew he was the best. He ran like the wind, but his brakes failed the test. What do we tell his mama? What do we tell his pop? Bradley the brown-nosed reindeer couldn't stop. When they hitched him to the harness, he assumed the sprinter's stance. He knew this one trial run would be his only chance. He tore across tall treetops with honor by his side. When it all came crashing down, he had no place to hide. 'Cause he rear-ended Prancer and Dancer got it too. When they pulled Santa from the pile, he was black and blue. Mrs. Claus said because of Brad they lost a sleigh. And now he's where the has-beens and never was a stay. What do we tell his mama? What do we tell his pop? Bradley the brown-nosed reindeer couldn't stop. Bradley the brown-nosed reindeer couldn't stop. While he was out to pasture, his friend Donner. While he was out to pasture, his friend Comet came to call. He said, be glad, my good friend Brad, you missed nothing at all. I thought I'd see the forest and the mountain ranges, but unless your name is Rudolph, the scenery never changes. What do we tell his mama? What do we tell his pop? Bradley the brown-nosed reindeer couldn't stop. Oh, Bradley. Bradley the brown-nosed reindeer couldn't stop. Oh, Bradley. Bradley the brown-nosed reindeer couldn't stop.
Wow. Poor Bradley.
Poor Bradley.
Poor Bradley.
Well, he did his best.
Yeah.
He did his best. They'll never forget him. They may never forgive him either.
They-
How are we doing on time?
I haven't got the time. I was
you-
wondering too.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
keeper of the time. You are.
Okay.
I see.
You used to look it up on your phone.
I tried and I reduced the picture down, and you
Oh.
know me, so that I was able to tap it and get it right
Well,
back,
that's
but I was
wonderful.
not ready to
Here,
drag it.
here's a
Thank you for the.
Lin proof.
Thank you, because man, all I have to do strike one button and look out. Thank you. Yes, this is more.
Lin can brick any device ever invented.
I'm
I
so
don't
ashamed, but
care. Hey,
I
it's a
pick
talent.
something up, I tap a button. I mean, and then you don't know where you are after that.
If I die before you and your pension goes away,
Oh no.
why, just hire yourself out. You think that's brick proof? Well, I'll tell you what. When it comes to computers, I've passed the ID10T test, and
That's
I will
right, I
reduce
can
it
do-
to slag. Captain Kirk is my hero.
That's right. Ivan is with us.
Hey, Ivan,
He's
welcome.
like, hi, folks. Fell
Happy
asleep
holiday
and
to you and
didn't
Nancy.
wake up till now. I'm bad.
Well,
Today is
at
closed
least
captions.
at our
I
age-
wondered about that. Are you guys seeing that too? Because mine's got closed captions on my screen.
What
So
does
that
that
was
mean?
not intentional. I wondered about that and figured it was just I did something to the phone. You know how I do.
Closed caption.
That means it's writing everything we say. But I thought it was just me. I thought it was just the phone. But Ivan's asking. He says, today is closed captions, question mark.
I don't know, Ivan.
We've been having some issues.
No, that's not on our end. It's probably a change Facebook made.
Oh,
We'll see if you get them tomorrow.
Anybody else getting
Of course,
closed?
he uses the app, and we're using a computer. So
Well, I
don't
was
know,
looking
but-
at trying to see the screen over there, but I can't tell. So I was like, well, Amber says I don't see them on mine. Oh no, Ivan, I don't know why. Did I do?
Does anyone
I
else
do
see
that?
closed captions?
Oh no.
Yeah, who was that cartoon character the kids
Oh,
loved?
what did they-
Did I do that?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Orko was his name.
Yeah, Amber says I'm on an iPhone. Hillary says I haven't got them. So some do and some don't.
I'd like to find. I'll research that,
We
Ivan.
will
Thanks for
find out.
bringing it up.
Well, see, I thought I had done something
I
to
gotta
the
get you
phone
and Lynn.
again.
I know. I'm
was-
gonna get you and Lynn together. You'll
It could get-
you'll make history.
You know, we're creative souls who. Oh, Robert said, closed captions are on my phone view, Android. David Kilby, no, I'm on laptop and do not see them. And Flip said, I don't see it either, just the typed comments on a desktop. Amber said, that was Steve on Family Matters. Did I do that? That's right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So some are in, this is interesting.
Yeah.
We now have a, who knows,
Well, it's a mystery. It's our Christmas gift to you, Ivan.
that's right.
Whether you wanted it or not. Just the thing I need. How
Well,
nice.
and Robert has them too.
Oh.
Yeah, see, Robert said closed captions are on my phone view, Android. And Hillary said if you tap at the bottom of the screen, you can tap CC and it brings up captions. Oh, did we do that? Somebody-
Interesting. Okay. Well, you learn something new every day. I've learned a lot today.
Yes.
I not only learned about closed captions on Facebook, I learned 151 ways not to hook up a router.
That's right. You do.
And I thought I knew what I was doing.
We were in the twilight zone, and I didn't do that. I don't think.
No, it wasn't you.
That was not me. I was not in the room when it broke.
That's true, too.
We're getting ha-has from Because, I mean, man.
Just one day, the internet went away on my TP-Link Wi-Fi 6 router, which means it'll handle IPv6 addresses, and is really fast and can handle multiple streams and all of that. And I went out and I got a replacement this morning and brought it back in here, and I hooked it up, and it did the same thing.
Exact same thing.
Almost exactly, not exactly.
Robert says, and here on PC, no closed captioning appearing. And Flip said, I just found where I can turn closed captions on. So that's cool. We have to go figure out how to turn them off. Or not worry about it.
Hillary said just tap the CC thing there.
Oh, I'm not worried about it particularly.
No, I'm not either. Okay. Anyway.
It's interesting.
Yes, indeed. It's our week.
Sometimes you think you're the only one. Turns out I'm not.
I'm going to do the show, and I'm involved in an open mic thing tonight, and I'm going to enjoy that. And I'm going to listen to Ivan tomorrow.
Yes.
By the way,
yes.
Go to Ivan Stiles' page tomorrow for some really good folk music. I never miss it. Well, I won't say that, but I rarely miss it. At 2 o'clock Eastern Time, which would be, 8 o'clock GMT? Yeah. And he does an hour every Sunday afternoon with his wife, Nancy.
Sometimes guests.
And sometimes he has guests.
Yeah.
And sometimes he has guest programmers who pick out the list. So you just never know what you're going to hear over there. And if you're not doing anything else Sunday afternoon, drop by and join us, because it's well worth the hour. All right. This song was recorded by someone called Metropolitan Belinda, and it's called Politically Correct Christmas. I can't do Metropolitan Belinda, so I will just have to do something that is sufficiently snooty and arrogant to get across what she was trying to tell everybody. The season is upon us, with tradition all around. Mistakes of Christmas past are once more handed down. Well, I for one think it should be more of a ladies' thing. Now that we know better, it's time we make a change. Let's be politically correct this Christmas. Let's be politically correct this year. Let's try not to offend by anything done or said, even if it means we bore everyone to death. Let's be politically correct this Christmas and do our best to be so insincere. Out with traditions that are harmful, my dear. Let's be politically correct this year. Enough of all that eggnog with cholesterol and fat. And just forget the fruitcake, an offensive name at that. Let's not hang the mistletoe, it may be misconstrued as sexual harassment, and next you're being sued. Let's be politically correct this Christmas. Let's be politically correct this year. Let's try not to offend by anything done or said, even if it means we bore everyone to death. Let's be politically correct this Christmas our best to be so insincere. Out with traditions that are harmful, my dear. Let's be politically correct this year. Santa's always kept a list of who's been good or bad, but according to psychologists, he shouldn't be doing that. Let the kids act how they want, set individual goals. Let's not cause them anguish with stockings filled with coal. Let's use recycled paper to wrap their Christmas gifts, and maybe some with animals from the endangered species list. No Barbie dolls, no BB guns, forget old G.I. Joe. What kind of message would we send with presents such as those? Let's be politically correct this Christmas. Let's be politically correct this year. Let's try not to offend by anything done or said, even if it means we bore everyone to death. Let's be politically correct this Christmas and do our best to be so insincere. Out with traditions that are harmful, my dear. Let's be politically correct, politically correct, politically correct this year.
I like that last chord there. Yeah.
Yeah. Politically correct Christmas.
No.
That's right. I have a new vocation. I'm a professional offender. I am offended by everything. There's money in being persecuted. Anyway, sorry about that.
No.
I have a lot of trouble dealing with people who feel sorry for themselves for things that really aren't problems. You want to feel sorry for somebody? Feel sorry for somebody that lost both their legs and an arm, or somebody who dived off of a thing at a party only to discover that the water was only 2 feet deep and broke his neck and can't walk or anything and is confined to a wheelchair, and all he can do is communicate with a computer with a mouth switch. Feel sorry for that guy. Don't feel sorry for somebody. Well, you can if you want to, but I'm not going to, because I know people that have really got problems.
Yeah.
Bad frickin' problems. Not just because of the way they were born or what happened 150 years ago or something. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's see here. Where are we? Okay. Here's our second tune by Homer and Jethro. Homer Haynes and Jethro Burns. They called themselves Homer and Jethro. See, what they should have done is an album by Haynes and Burns, and nobody would have bought it. Okay. This is called Nuttin' for Christmas, as opposed to, pardon me, Nothing for Christmas by Spike Jones. Not getting a thing, getting nothing for Christmas, not getting a thing, getting nothing for Christmas, not getting a thing, getting nothing for Christmas, not getting a thing this Christmas. Johnny is a little brat, I'm gonna tan his hide. Hey, darn near ruined our pussy cat, I'm gonna tan his hide. Before the cat could shift her gears, Johnny grabbed the pinking shears, cut off her tail up past her ears, I'm gonna tan his hide. He's getting nothing for Christmas, him out to dine. I'm gonna tan his hide. His table manners were a crime. I'm gonna tan his hide. Mashing taters with his toes, pouring gravy on my clothes, mashing string beans up my nose. I'm gonna tan his hide. Oh, he's getting nothing for Christmas. He's getting nothing, you bet. Nothing's too good for our Johnny, and that's what he's gonna get. Not getting a thing, getting nothing for Christmas, not getting a thing, getting nothing for Christmas, not getting a thing, getting nothing for Christmas, not getting a thing this Christmas. I sat Johnny on my knees, I'm gonna tan his hide. I told him about the birds and bees, I'm gonna tan his hide. That's one talk I ain't forgot. My face was red, my ears were hot. Friends, I sure did learn a lot. I'm gonna tan his hide. He's getting nothing for Christmas. He's getting nothing, you bet. Nothing's too good for our Johnny, and that's what he's gonna get. Not getting a thing, getting nothing for Christmas, not getting a thing, getting nothing for Christmas, not getting a thing, getting nothing for Christmas, not getting a thing this Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
My son, the sociopath.
Ha face come up from Ivan. Sometimes I see who those are from.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
I
cool.
might not be vigilant enough to catch the first where they have the picture, and then I see the
Well.
and
work on
like
it.
see that one didn't have. Some do, some don't. I can't explain.
I've had enough. I can't explain it for one day. I'm not gonna.
I
try to-
appreciate the.
I'm not gonna try to explain
Appreciate
anything
it,
more
that's
today.
Thank you for the emoji cons.
Indeed.
Or emoticons. I've mixed it up. Emoji cons is not right.
No, emoticons.
Yes.
Emoticons. Yeah. Are.
Got it.
Anyway. This has been great. I had a lot of fun today. Here is a song by Lardo and Burley, the Moron Brothers. I don't know what their real names are. That's their billing. They are ex-Louisville firefighters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're devout Christians. They will not perform anywhere where alcohol is served because they
yeah.
saw so many tragic accidents involving alcohol where they had to pull dead bodies out of burning cars and stuff.
Yeah.
But their music is hilarious. I've done several of theirs. That one about the folks and their father gets caught in the electric fence.
Oh, that's them?
That's them.
That's a good one.
And the If My Nose Was Running Money is theirs.
Oh, that's theirs too.
And that one about Hoss Walker
Oh, yeah.
is theirs.
The Liar.
Yeah.
Hoss Walker, the Liar.
This one is one of their Christmas songs called Best Christmas. When Christmas time comes to the country, what a happy time of year. Mom baked a jam cake, cooked an old wild goose, has hard candy everywhere. That little old sharecropper's shack is beamed with happiness. There was one Christmas that we'll never forget, turned out to be the best. Daddy, a few days before Christmas, Daddy'd hitch up a mule to an old mud sled Daddy made. He'd go down the holler, us kids was to follow, we was gone most half the day. We'd hunt till we found the biggest, fluffiest cedar tree by far. Take it home, trim it with popcorn, top it off with a tinfoil star. I was the littlest one that year, Daddy held me way up high. When I placed the star on top of the tree, something in it caught my eye. It was a big old gray paper ball. What it was, I couldn't guess. But when things warmed up on Christmas Eve, it turned out to be a hornet's nest. Hornets was a buzz and Mama was a fuss, and one stung my cousin on his left ear. Running hard as we could go through the drifting snow. Had to spend Christmas in the barn that year. When things cooled off, Daddy went back in, told us to stay where we was at. He grabbed coats and quilts and Mama's old Bible, fighting hornets with his hat. That night we huddled together to keep each other warm. Mama read from the Bible about the first family that ever spent Christmas in the barn. Next morning we went back in, and we thought all them hornets was froze. Mama started cooking up the Christmas dinner. Daddy built a fire in the stove. Us kids all started playing. Once again, the house got hot. Daddy took a bite of goose and he turned it loose, saying, "Run for all you got!" Hornet was a buzz and Mama was a fuss, and one stung my cousin on his right ear. Running hard as we could go through the drifting snow. Had to spend Christmas in the barn that year. Well, we're all grown, got kids of our own. We still go to Mom and Dad's, and we love to tell the story about the best Christmas we ever had. How that night we huddled together to keep each other warm. Mama still reads the Bible about the first family that ever spent Christmas in the barn. Hornets was a buzz and Mama was a fuss, and one stung my cousin through his underwear. Running hard as we could go through the drifting snow. Had to spend Christmas in the barn that year.
Wow. Oh, goodness. Hey, Jerry Burgess Jr.?
Hey, Jerry, welcome.
He
Happy
says-
holidays. Merry Christmas, buddy.
He says, "Sounds good as always, George. Season's greetings from my family to yours. Thank you."
Well, same right back at you.
And likes and ha-has from Ivan on that song, and a like on this that Jerry said.
Good deal.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's, that has to be true. You couldn't make that up.
no, I know. Who would think of it? Uh-oh.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not. Just sounds.
I know.
It's
Anything
like,
relating
uh-oh,
to the internet spooks me these
I know.
days. How we doing?
It's 2:55.
Oh, hey, we're going to come out close to right here.
Well, gosh, that's impossible.
I know.
After all this.
I have to think of something else to do.
That's right.
Anybody know any dirty Santa Claus jokes?
No.
Never mind.
Never mind.
I suppose we ought to do one serious Christmas carol.
Do you think? I mean, after all, it is.
I think we should.
It
make
is
an
the
attempt.
season.
Yeah.
For that.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we've been making fun of Christmas.
Yes, we'll be serious.
And everything all day. So we need
All
to
right.
do one Christmas carol.
Okay. I hope you
Here's-
have it in you.
Me too. Here's O Little Town of Bethlehem. O little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie above thy deep and dreamless sleep. The silent stars go by. are met in me tonight.
There you go.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun. It's been the ruin of many poor boys, and God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She sewed my old blue jeans. My father was a gambling man down in New Orleans.
Wow.
It's weird, isn't it? How
It
those
is.
songs can be sung to the other's tune.
Yeah.
I'll bet there's a lot. I mean, there's only so many tunes out there.
Right.
There's only so many permutations and combinations of chords.
But that's just, well,
But that's just
beautiful that
like,
way.
yeah, it fits
And it
absolutely perfectly together.
Ivan said, interesting take on those two.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, we've sure enjoyed
You
having
know,
all of you here today.
yeah, I just want to thank all the people who have put money in our tip
Yes.
jar.
Yes, we do.
And if you've got an extra holiday buck or two, we'd really appreciate it if you could put a little something in our tip jar. All the money is going to go toward getting me and Dan Wolking, who is my selected travel companion, because Lin doesn't like to fly, to MLAG, where I will have my CD release party. And I need your help to get there. And I want to thank everybody who's contributed once, regularly, or whatever. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you who has, put a little of your hard-earned money into getting me
It means
to
so
MLAG.
much
It just
to
means
us. It really
a
does.
lot to me that I would have such good friends that would do that. So if you
go
can continue to help us out there, we would really appreciate it. Go ahead.
I have Ziggy here. He said, didn't know that House of the Rising Sun has also Christmas lyrics. Thanks, George and Lynn, for this so wonderfully twisted Christmas concert. See you again in about 3 hours.
Indeed.
later. Yes, indeed.
We will see you shortly.
And David Kilby said, thanks, George and Lynn. Merry Christmas to both of you. To you too.
You too, David. We'll see you tonight too.
So
I
I
hope.
hope so. Yes.
And the rest of you, check Ivan out. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, oh, yes, do.
Yes. We are not, our next concert, our next show is scheduled for the 8th of January. We're not going to try to do one on Christmas Day, and we're not going to try to do one on New Year's Day. Those are for
Right.
families and,
Right.
and things. Unless we get an overwhelming groundswell of people who don't have anything better to do, which would surprise me to no end. So our next one is going to be on the 8th. And I'm not absolutely sure, but I think it's going to be songs about growing old and looking back at things from an older person's point of view.
Yes.
That's, I think, going to be the theme if I can scare up enough songs for it. So with that, we will wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
and-
holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas.
Yes.
And you're into Yule or Kwanzaa or whatever.
Hearts
Do
going
take
up.
care of yourselves.
Yes.
Spare a kind thought for a neighbor.
Yes.
Somebody who may be a little different from you or maybe a little bit down on their luck. Spare them at least a kind thought. during this time of year. And we will see you again in 3 weeks. So long, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Island says, Merry, Merry to you both. Yes, Island. Many hearts.
Now it's time to say goodbye to George and all his kin. We'd sure like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back real soon to this locality to have a heaping helping of our hospitality. Down home style, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now, here. Okay, 2 things.